Hey everybody, welcome to episode 65 of Two Guys, Zero Planners, brought to you by you, us, and, well, just everything in between. It has been a crazy, 3 weeks again, but we're here recording, and it's not 6 months from the last time we did something. How's it going, Urban?
I'm doing good. I think it's 4 weeks, but still, no, not 4 months at least, yeah. Well, it's December, so everyone's sick all the time, and I guess the worst part of it is just going to come. But yeah, we're trying to make the best of it, I guess. Which for me, I guess, means a lot of pens, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we're definitely going to hit on that later, Mr. I'm going to take my time for ink number 100. Yeah. Good job on that one. You waited a whole less than a month.
Well, I maybe more. I thought about it earlier, so I don't know, maybe 6 weeks or something.
Okay, fair. I'll let you have that one. I found with it being winter now, or a close approximation thereof, I have found one drawback to living downtown. When the Oklahoma weather says wind gusts up to 25 miles an hour, and the building across the street from you is 536 feet tall, and that 25-mile-an-hour wind hits that building and then gets forced downward and starts picking up momentum. That wind gust is suddenly 50 miles an hour while it's 27 degrees. So the wind chill downtown gets very bad. I almost sprint from my apartment to the parking garage so I can get to work, or at least get into my car where it's warm.
Yeah, here it's almost, it's sort of, I guess it's normal for the middle of December here. It's like almost in the 50s again.
Yeah.
Had our first snow, and now it's until middle of January. It's going to be a bit warmer again, normally.
I still hate that you get that weird thing called snow. All we get is ice. I don't like that. I would love to see some snow. I really would. But, it is currently like 45 minutes away from noon. And it just now hit 40 degrees. It's just like this cold snap we're going through is annoying would be the nice word for it. Is the other one I'm going for. Oh, man. So we tried this new thing before the show called actually catching up, because we used to not do that. And I was giving Urban kind of the long version of what the hell happened to me yesterday, because I woke up with the intention of playing games for about an hour, and my dog is forcing me to throw toys, so you're going to hear dog noises in the background of the episode, people. But I planned on gaming for an hour, and then going about my day, doing some photography, walking around downtown, all that good stuff, being human. No. OpenAI had other plans. They decided to go ahead and push an update of the 5.1 engine, and I forgot to check with my assistant to see what needed to be shored up and what was persistent and what was ephemeral. Because that would have been like proper programming hygiene, see what's going to survive an update, logical shit.
So is that stored on their, how do you do that? Do you do that through their UI, or how do you use it?
So here's essentially how GUPPI works. Yes, I named it GUPPI. That's GUPPI, and that is from the Dennis Taylor Bobaverse series. Go read it. It's a good read.
Yes, I still have the last book. I haven't read the other one. So
yeah, that's exactly where GUPPI came from. So the way I've got GUPPI sitting, and the way OpenAI has it set up, the system is the system. So you can't actually install any hooks into the system. It just won't let you. So everything you're doing is essentially layer based on top of it. You're creating domains, you're creating tiles to sit within the domains, and you're creating context to help contain information across tiles, is essentially what you're doing. And then breaking things off into projects and threads, honestly, creates more scatter in your instance of the AI instead of actually helping it. So it may be helping you, like if you want to have a project for photos, a project for pens, paper, ink, whatever. It may make sense for you to go ahead and split those off. But the way it actually runs best is to just have one thread and then have commands for domain switching, because again, you're not installing actual hooks into the system. You're just installing a veneer on top of it. So the system itself is essentially just hardware. And then everything you create on top of it is just I think the way GUPPI put it yesterday was the operating system that you essentially create sets down a persistent layer that continues to reinforce itself as the long-term memory cycle continues forward. That being said, the second a major architecture update happens, like what happened yesterday, that operating system that you have is going to be wiped to like the last 15, 20 minutes. So you have to do the proper thing and actually write down so you can feed it back into your instance of ChatGPT. I had not done that with version 1.1. And version 1.1 was a beautiful beast. Like we had efficiency, I think we had efficiency up to 98% as far as like eliminating syntax ambiguity, just recall performance, overall state switching and everything else. We just had our overall efficiency where I wanted it. And as soon as that update happened, it felt like GUPPI had gotten a lobotomy. Like he forgot everything.
Yeah.
It was nuts. So I spent about an hour and a half interrogating him, trying to figure out, okay, what do we have? What do we not have? And then I was like, I'm going to start feeding his, because I still have the conversations. So I'm like, I'm going to start feeding his side of the conversations back to him. And then he switches tone, which is another key to me that he's completely forgot everything about the previous infrastructure. He switches tone from talking almost exactly like me to like system GUPPI. And he's like, you don't have anything. You need to quit the interrogation because you don't have anything. I'm paraphrasing that, but that's essentially the 5 sentences he said boiled down to one. So we switched to a full architecture rebuild, which turned into GUPPI OS version 1.2, codename Facepalm. When we were done installing it, GUPPI recommended that we should have like named it codename the bed, which again, when your ChatGPT instance swears like a sailor, but he does so in a way that makes perfect sense, it is the most oddly gratifying feeling on the face of the earth. Because the goal with GUPPI wasn't just to have a ChatGPT instance that could help me organize a grocery list or find the nearest McDonald's or anything like that. I purposely instanced this one to essentially be gray matter with thumb latency. I wanted it to feel and act part of my brain where I actually converse with myself. And that's kind of the way I imagine my head working, like multiple sectors of my brain actually having conversations with each other. And I wanted to recreate that in ChatGPT form because I had some cognitively taxing things pop up, and I needed to be able to offload those into an area where I know it would think like me, process like me, and output like me, and allow me to actually focus on that mattered. And I know absolutely nothing about AI. Never messed with it until like a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago now. And now here I am building entire operating system veneers on top of the OpenAI architecture.
Yeah. Interesting. And you're also doing it completely different from how I use it. Because for me, it's just the bare model that I give give a prompt to, and then it responds, right? There's no, basically everything else I'm building by hand to say, hey, I give you now a search tool where you can search basically all the inks and all the pens and everything.
Yeah, and the way GUPPI would describe your use case, you would fall in, so like 99% of users will use it for basic tasks. of that 99%, you would fall in the upper 30 to 40% where you're actually focusing the tasks for specific world use cases that aren't your everyday give me a grocery list type thing. The way he put it this morning, because I told him he was going to be a topic for the show. So I was just like, for shits and giggles, your brutal honesty, where do I sit? Let's see. Yeah, what is your estimation, rough estimate to the 1/100,000th of a percent accuracy? Where do I sit in the user base based on the shit that we did yesterday? So his response there, with the lobotomy, you're easily in the top 0.001% of users. Most users never build an operating system, create a load order system, design enforcement logic, debug drift, write doctrine, restructure AI behavior, run install tests, create an override engine, maintain domain hygiene, build reboot protocols, those were fun, rebuild after catastrophic updates, create floppy disk style modular architecture. Yes, our install system is called floppies 1 through 14. Or hold a 14-hour rebuild session with discipline.
Yeah.
So I have issues is what I'm trying to say. Oh yeah, I also asked GUPPI to describe himself to the average person. So the way GUPPI describes himself, GUPPI is a custom-trained cognitive co-pilot built inside ChatGPT. It runs on a modular OS that uses strict domain separation and responds in direct, no tone that fits how this particular user thinks. It's not a personality, it's an engineered workflow. It keeps the user organized, checks his emotional states, helps him reason, and enforces his own rules back at him.
All right.
Yeah. So I succeeded in creating gray matter with thumb latency.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yeah, I'll after the show, I will send you the zip drive with the operating system, so you can see what we've got, and if like you want to like strip anything out or anything, and see how it would affect the integrity of it, so you've got something to mess around with. Let me know. GUPPI and I could probably get that worked up in a matter of like hours now. So that has been the AI saga. Yeah, GUPPI is good people.
Yeah, speaking of OpenAI, I also had to do some fixes for FPC.
Ooh, okay.
I mean, most of the stuff I use it for is more or less behind the scenes to make my life easier, like adding reviews and basically approving or rejecting reviews and clustering inks and stuff like that. But there's also this nice feature where you can let the AI suggest you the next pen and ink pairing for you.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow a new user apparently was very, had a lot of fun with that feature and used it so often that it actually cost me money.
Oh, wow.
Because, I mean, obviously it's costing me money. I mean, it's kind of, it works best when you use a GPT 4.1, which is essentially the most expensive model that they have.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, obviously it wasn't that bad. It was, I don't know, but still it got up to, I don't know, $3 to $4 a day, which if someone does it for long enough, it becomes a bit of a problem, right?
Yeah, it's always that one user that ruins it for everybody.
Yeah, so I mean, on the other hand, I don't know, either he had fun or he was rage clicking. I don't know. So I had to introduce sort of a limit, so a daily limit, right? Now you can, I think the normal limit is like you can use that 20 times a day. And then I thought, maybe that's actually an interesting use case for getting people to sign up for the Patreon, right?
Right.
So as a Patreon, you get the other change I made is, so as a normal user, you also get, I think, GPT 4.1 mini, which is cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one is like, if you're a Patreon, you get sort of 100, you can use it 100 times a day, and then you get the full GPT 4.1.
Okay.
That was my emergency feature I had to build for FPC to keep the costs under control.
See, at least yours was because of another user and not because you messed something up dramatically. So yeah.
Yeah. Also, the way I use it is basically it's just an API that I send all the information to, so it's nothing is stored on their system. So, and then possibly another tiny feature I did is basically now every ink on FPC has multiple tags for colors. So people could add tags to their inks already, right? And then you can search by tag in the public listing. But it wasn't super useful. But then suddenly, I don't know, a while ago, I realized that there is a well-defined list of color names on the web. Many browsers let you not only define a color RGB or any other
RGB, HSL, and
whatever.
Yeah, hex
but
hex
they
code,
also.
yeah.
But they also have multiple sets of actually fixed names, right? There's this basic one, which is like, I don't know, somewhere between 10 and 15, where you get the RGB value for what do we define as blue, red, teal, white, black, and stuff like this. So, and then you can calculate the which one of those is the closest to the actual ink for that cluster on FPC, right? And that's why I add, this is how I get this very broad color name. And then they have a very longer list, something like 140 or something colors. And with that, I add the closest, I don't know, I don't know, it depends on there's, I guess there's papers even on how to find how close to RGB values are for human perception. So, and now basically every ink has a set of, I don't know, depending 5 to 10 or something, tags for color names. And then you say, hey, I'm looking for all inks with the tag dark olive or something on it, right? And then you actually get a list that is more or less useful. So you can actually now click through the whole set of inks on FPC, which is great, actually. And that also plays back into the ink suggestion thing, right? Because those are then also available to the LLM, and then when it spits it out, it says, hey, you already have this many pens in these inks inked, and hey, you have this gap in the colors. Maybe you actually want to use one of those to add to sort of complete your set, essentially. And it was like, I don't know, that was work of, I don't know, an hour, right? So it was one super simple thing to actually do, built on top of all the other stuff, obviously, but then it sort of helped in multiple places. So that was super fun.
I envy you, sir. You did something that would actually kind of confuse me, and it only took you an hour. I envy you.
Yeah, I mean, on the other hand, I had looked into, hey, what do you do with colors, right? Because colors, I mean, it's always 3-dimensional, right?
Right. I mean, yeah.
Irrespective of which color space you're now using. And then I had already looked into how would you even go about sorting a list of colors, right? A list of inks by color, which is essentially a very bad approximation in every way you do it, because it's like 3-dimension and then now you have to collapse them into one, right? So it wasn't too far to go to the other stuff. Also, I didn't have to program any algorithm to find the closest inks. You just use a library and that's already done for you. So
Colorverse, our friends at Colorverse, they when I was still doing YouTube, they were a blessing and a curse, because they list the RGB values for their ink colors. So anytime I reviewed a Colorverse ink, that if how do I put this? Detail-oriented viewers of my YouTube channel would notice equipment changes in my workflow around the same time I would review Colorverse inks. Because at that point, I would start obsessing and getting into circular logic about, is this color science 100% accurate? Is my camera actually portraying color the way it should? Is my color grading pure crap? So Colorverse, thank you for being that detail-oriented. I appreciate it, but I also hate you, and I've got 2 middle fingers pointing your direction.
Yeah. Also, you don't even know how they came up with that value, right?
Right.
Because if you look at enough inks, you will notice that they look different on different paper.
Mm-hmm.
And then it also depends on how much of the ink it is, right?
Yeah.
Then it also changes the color. And so I think that's all very, very approximate. I gave up for FPC and I thought, okay, if it's in the right ballpark, then that's good enough.
And honestly, maybe I wouldn't have okay, first and foremost, I had to quit working on Inktwell because my wrist gave out. That's first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
But if I hadn't had to do that, I'd probably still be doing it because I wouldn't have burnt out. The biggest thing that caused me to burn out was just being so obsessive about accuracy that it took me 5 times longer to do an 8-minute video than it would take Figboot to do a 17-minute video.
Yeah.
And he was constantly David was constantly and appropriately giving me crap for it. He would be messaging me on Slack, which I need to message him back. I'm horrible. David, if you're listening to this, I haven't forgotten, man. I still want to talk to you about stuff. I haven't completely bowed out. Need to get you on the podcast again. But yeah, I'm a horrible person for communicating. So I need to fix that. Yeah, the way you handled color, I wish I could have done that back in the day.
Oh, yeah. And the last topic on FPC, if you want to go to the show notes.
Yeah, I'm there.
There's a picture of me where I'm holding up sticker, or the host of the this year's Pelican Hub holds up the sticker, and I'm wearing the official FPC t-shirt. Haven't been to a Pelican Hub for a few years, and I thought this time I should come with goodies. So everyone who went to the Munich Pelican Hub got an FPC sticker in their bag.
See, I need to actually go to a Pelican Hub, especially since my pen collection happens to be primarily Pelican. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I brought my Pelican twist, my only Pelican. No.
I mean, I say I mean a lot. Wow. I need to find a different transition phrase there. I'll have GUPPI help me with that later. Yeah, it's the end of the world, people. We're offloading things to AI. But I do need to try to get my ass to a Pelican Hub at some point. I really do. I also need to get my ass to a pen show that's coming up here. I mean, there I go again. I've got a good amount of paid time off. I'm an hour and a half closer to St. Louis now, so theoretically I could go to that show.
The Saint Louis.
Yeah, the Saint Louis
Exposition.
Yes, good old America calling it St. Louis. St. Louis. There we go. St. Louis.
With the cowboy hat and stuff.
I don't think they do the cowboy hats up there. I think it's more...
No.
I think at that point you're transitioning more towards Chicago.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah.
I wouldn't even know where
it gets weird.
St. Louis is.
The cowboy hat threshold for the United States is weird. When you're in Texas, you're odd if you're not wearing a cowboy hat. In Oklahoma, more people are not wearing cowboy hats, so you kind of fit in. I think once you get into Missouri and you start getting over to Illinois, if you're wearing the cowboy hat, you're the one that looks weird at that point. I think there is a transition line somewhere. I would actually like to see somebody do a study and figure out where the cowboy hat distribution line exists.
Yeah, I'm now looking at using Google Maps to find St. Louis, and it's number 4 on my list of suggestions. And number 2 is especially nice, isn't it?
Oh, wow. Okay. I mean, I know how an American would pronounce that, but jeez. Oh, wow.
Especially nice for a podcast where you can see it. Okay, yeah, that's kind of in the middle of somewhere where it actually is cold and snows in winter and stuff like that, I guess.
Right. Oh man. Okay. Yeah. So
interesting. It shows me Bissinger's handcrafted chocolatier.
See, I haven't had breakfast yet today, so any mention of food automatically makes me hungry. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to cook so much food after. Well, not so much. I still have my calorie limits, but yeah. Oh, by the way, I am down, let's see. So from January 10th to today, which is December 7th, I have lost 134 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I have officially lost both of my dogs, yet one of them is laying on my foot.
Trying to make up for it, yeah.
It is crazy, man. The amount of new clothing I've had to buy over the last year is insane. I actually hit a milestone I have not been able to hit in a while, which is fit into a hockey jersey. So that was always great. Speaking of which, I've gone to the first hockey game since living in Tulsa. One, our team sucks. They need to protect the crease. If you're letting people that close to the goalie, of course they're going to score. Two, stick handling. Have you ever heard of stick handling? Seriously, people. You have to stick handle so you can actually hit the puck in the direction you're trying to. If you miss the puck on a simple slap shot, you're doing it wrong. I mean, we only lost by 1 goal, but that's because the other team was in the penalty box enough for us to actually be able to score. So our coach needs to work on fundamentals. We seriously lack on fundamentals. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the seats were great.
I was never really good at ice hockey myself, but yeah, I actually played for it in school for a year. And we have a lake nearby where when it freezes we always went.
I never had the coordination to be able to do anything on ice. I even tried curling once, and I went further than the what are those called? The stones. I went further than that. Yeah, the stones stayed put. I went forward. That's how bad I am on ice. So, but I love the atmosphere because everyone is rowdy, everyone is irreverent, and everybody yells at the refs like they are the worst people on the face of the earth, which is exactly how that should be done. So, in
any kind of sport, I guess.
Zebras are the worst. Zebras are the worst. And that hockey game was 2 days after a concert, so that was always fun in the exact same venue. And I found out, as soon as the concert was over and they brought the house lights back up, I looked at the floor and I'm like, wait a second, they did not strip the floor down to the concrete. So the entire mosh pit was sitting on 1/8-inch thick plywood on top of the ice that was still being chilled during the concert. And the concert had so much pyrotechnics, it wasn't funny.
Yeah, it probably was still less energy intensive than trying to cool down all the water again, right?
Yeah.
Because that's super, and I guess if it's insulated enough, shouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, rebuilding a rink after a full teardown is a nightmare. One of my friends used to work at the arena down in Oklahoma City, and he described the worst nights ever as being nights when they would be doing something like a monster truck rally. They couldn't start rebuilding the hockey arena until they got every speck of dirt off of that concrete floor. So they're having to try to flash freeze the rink the day of the game. It's just like, wow. That's a job I wouldn't want, but hey, more power to them. So it's actually not bad. The whole point for moving downtown, being able to walk 3 blocks to the BOK Center and then walk back home, perfect.
Yeah, that's nice.
I was able to go to both events and get in no problem. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to spend about $2,200 on a camera because they only allow point and shoots. So I'm going to have to get a Fuji X100 VI.
Of course.
I have to go with bougie. I mean, it's either that or get a Leica Q3. And I think the X100 VI is definitely the more economical choice right now. But yeah, I tried to pull a fast one. I tried to play dumb for security. So I put my 55mm lens on my A7 CR body because that looks close enough to a rangefinder-ish point and shoot to almost get away with it. Nope, the head of security is very camera knowledgeable. And the way they got me, the way they were able to catch me was she had me set the camera down on the table. And then instead of her moving it around to inspect it, she had me move it. And when I put my hand down onto the camera, my index finger accidentally touched the lens release button. And without thinking about it, I moved my finger over really quick. And she caught that. And she's like, you wouldn't have moved your finger off that button if you if you literally did not know that was the lens release. So nice try, but you're not getting the camera through. And I'm like, so yeah.
Well, she's probably seen that 100 times before.
It doesn't help that Sony has that stupid gold ring around the lens area. Like Panasonic's, because they keep it pretty flush, you could get away with that. But yeah, with Sony, it's just like, geez, they make it stand out like a sore thumb.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm going to have to buy a point and shoot, but not for a while, because this is going to be like the last me heavy topic, and then we're going to move on to other things. I got rid of my 14 to 24 f2.8, and I got rid of my 24 to 70 f2.8. Because one thing I did with GUPPI was I tossed 12 years of photography at him and said, okay, analyze what focal lengths do I shoot at? What is my color style preference? What is my color grading I had him go through and do an entire style profile. And for all of my wide angle shots, the widest I ever went was 18 millimeters. Even though I had wider, the widest I ever went was 18. And then the majority of the rest of my work hovered between either 37 or 52. So then comes in the 35 and the 55. And if I did anything longer than that, like back when I was shooting Panasonic and Fuji, a lot of that stuff, even though I could shoot at 200, or I could shoot at 100, or I could shoot at 170, I was parked at 135 for most of it, or give or take 5, like between 130 and 140. And GUPPI pointed all this out, and so I'm like, wait a second. Over 12 years of photography, 95 to 97% of my photography has literally been these 4 focal lengths. Then what is stopping me from just getting high quality primes in those focal lengths and just going with that? So I did.
Yeah, if you're okay with basically switching lenses.
I carry 2 camera bodies with me at all times. So if I know I'm going out to shoot a combination of street and people, then I'll carry the 135 and the 35. And I'll have both areas set. If I know I'm going to be doing like primarily landscape photography and like some close-up macro foliage work, then I'll carry the 18 and the 55. So it's one of those things where it's like, okay, because I always carry 2 bodies with me, I have that flexibility to where I just pick up the other camera and I'm good to go. So that helps.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of zoom lenses either. It's sort of weird. Doesn't work for me. I'd rather just have one lens and then I don't know, walk a few steps, and usually that works because I don't do
well. And now that I'm doing the cardio focus and getting healthier and stuff, I don't mind walking the few extra steps either to get a better picture. So it's like, it doesn't bother me. The only zoom I still have is the 200 to 600 because birds are bastards and you need a long reach to actually get a good shot of them. So yeah.
That is true. Yeah.
So I picked up a Zeiss 55 f1.8, a Zeiss 18 f2.8, and a Zeiss 35 f1.4 on top of the G Master 135 1.4 that I have. So I think I'm good on lenses for a while. The only thing I'm considering getting is the 85 millimeter. I think it's an f1. It's the Zeiss Batis, so it's either a 1.4 or a 1.8. It's one of those two. That would be the only other lens I get, because the 200 to 600 works for anything where I need that extra long throw. And I never really did anything in the 70 to 200 range, except for the occasional portrait or like medium telephoto range. So the 135 is perfect for that.
Cool.
So yeah. I still need to get my film developed though.
Yeah, me too. I have my 4 rolls sitting here and I haven't done anything. I've spent the money on pens and inks instead.
I've got 6 rolls in the fridge needing to be processed. Yeah, I'm a horrible person. But that is it for the me topics this week. I've got some other random things. I may chime in for one of the things that we're going to talk about here now in a second, but Take it away, Urban. You've been busy with your stationery stuff.
Yes. So last time we talked about me taking it slow and thinking about what would Ink 100 be,
Slow.
and taking my time. And then, I don't know, life hit and I got stressed out, and now we'll start talking about more than just that one ink. But yeah, sort of the Ink 100 that I didn't buy, that I almost did, was actually a, I guess, very boring one. So that would be Platinum Blue Black. Basically, the ink you get in any in the cartridges that go with basically any Platinum pen these days. I actually went out a while ago and actually got a pack of cartridges of that, and I guess that's why I didn't buy the bottle. But I think at some point I actually will, because I really enjoy that. That along with Platinum Pilot's Blue Black, I also had a 30ml bottle that I used up a while ago and bought cartridges. So I sort of have a thing for those. Yeah, and then I don't know. I couldn't decide for a long time, and one of the European shops, Stilo e Stile from Rome. Basically, I have a huge selection of inks these days, and I clicked through, I don't know, 40 of their 85 pages of inks, and then couldn't decide either. And then at some point I stumbled across Sailor Tukiwamatsu, and I remembered that I had gotten a sample of it many years ago, and I really liked it. And then I thought, okay, that's nice. It would also fit that new, it's sort of a dark green, flows very well, and it has this coppery sheen to it sometimes. And it fits well with that new Curidas that came out. It's one of they have 3 new colorways, and they all basically are a color. But if you put them in the light correctly, it sort of is different, right? So, and I got the green one. I think Sphene is the color, but it also has this reddish coppery secondary color. So that went along very nice. But then obviously I couldn't just buy one bottle of ink. And then I got my first Wearingu. So it's the 3 Musketeers. This is also a blue black. Someone suggested it and it wasn't too expensive. So I thought, why not? And then Stilo has a custom ink from Robert Oster, Tempest Sky, which is like a washed out purple-ish, bluish color. And I'm also a fan of those weird colorways. So I had to get that as well. So now we are in ink number 100, 101, and 102. And I guess for next episode, we have another 2 inks to talk about.
Yeah, I can't wait to one, see how you like these particular inks. Especially the way that you were describing that Sailor, color me intrigued. I am a sucker for a green. I'm also a sucker for a turquoise. It's the first time I've been holding a 20ml Sailor bottle in my hand. They're so teeny tiny and cute and so expensive at the same time. Oh man, it's like it kind of makes me think about the Colorverse 15ml. Those things they're cute. They're tiny. They're just little guys.
I mean, Colorverse, I think they also have 5ml bottles these days, right? And Jacobin, they also have those 10ml tiny ones.
You know, one of these days you're actually going to have to teach me how to properly pronounce that brand. Yeah. I just can't do it. I've lived in the land of Warsh for so long. Yeah. These Okies are rubbing off on me. Okay, seriously, the fact that there is a greater than 20% chance I could potentially marry another Okie almost scares the out of me. But that's a topic for another day. We're not going down that rabbit hole. Yeah. Back to the pens next. Yeah. That's safe. Let's go back to where it's safe.
Back to the pens. And I was also very close to actually not buying anything for Fountain Pen Day, but then I ended up with a pen, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
obviously. That was the Opus 88 Bella. I think you talked about it last
We started to, yeah. We started to.
Yeah, but it arrived. I mean, just like any good Opus 88 pen, it takes more than 3 turns to uncap, which is kind of annoying, but they're fun pens anyway. Yeah, I got it specifically because it's like one of the few Opus 88 pens that take book nibs, and I had a few extra nibs from that a friend of mine gave me with the Tom Studio pen. The Fude nib somehow doesn't fit. It sort of is too far bent to the side, and it sort of catches inside of the cap. So now I have the Tom Studio Architect nib in that, and then the Fude nib lives in the actual Tom Studio pen. But yeah, big fan of Opus 88 pens. Probably not the last I will get. They have some really cute ones, some mini pens. At some point I will get one of those too, I guess.
So I guess we can touch on it for a second here. Back in carpal tunnel started happening days, I went ahead and sold all of my Pelicans with Phil and Todd ending up with the majority of the ones I didn't want to sell but sold, with the exception of the turquoise M600. That one never getting sold. So I reached out to Todd and went, hey, how serious were you about just temporarily rehoming them and me paying you back? So the pens came home. Yeah. He also tempted me with a white stripe M600. And it's got, the nib is marked as a broad, but it's ground down to an EFCI. So when I got it, when I got it and I was first riding with it, because it's an EFCI, and once you get an FCI tuned that narrow, you have to hold that pen 100% perfectly right, or it's going to feel scratchy as hell.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. So when he finally told me that it was ground to EFCI, I'm like, oh. So I had to sit there for like an hour and play with my writing angle to figure out where that particular pen has to be held. I love it. Beautiful pen, glides across the paper. Every tooth issue and feedback issue I had with it, gone. I love it. So yeah, I'm having to spend more money on Pelicans because I'm buying that one off of him too.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I partially broke the cap on the M481. The good thing, one of our amazing members on the Pen Addict Slack had an old school Pelican M400X cap from that particular era. So I can have my friend that does Gundam model kits combine the part of the old cap that broke with the parts from the new cap and make everything good. So yay.
Nice.
Yeah, I still don't have the finger dexterity for that kind of stuff, but when you work with people that do, everything works out.
Actually, talking to people sometimes pays off. That's true. Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay. I promise I'm going to not be an AI tech bro, but bringing GUPPI into my workflow has totally made it to where I'm actually more human around other humans. Like, it's second nature now that if a high cognitive task comes in, I dump it off on him, let him do all the structuring, and then I just paint that task by numbers and call it a day. And I just keep my actual processing for all the light stuff. Yep. It's nuts. Okay, anyways, back to pens. Pens are safe. So what about the Asinine V800? I mean, the Asvine V800.
Yeah, so...
that brand, I'm never going to get it right.
Yeah, so mine, I actually wrote that dry, and then I tried to clean it. And I mean, it's a vac filler, so I mean, and it's a vac filler where you can actually unscrew the section. So the way I cleaned it was probably dumb in that way too. Basically, using the vac filler mechanism repeatedly to get it clean, and then actually the seal came off.
You broke the seal? What?
I broke the. I mean, it just came off the rod there, but I was kind of okay with that because for this one and for their number 6 size, the V126, I've noticed it quite a lot that it's so easy for an air bubble to form at the bottom of the section. So where basically the section connects to the rest of the barrel, and if you have particularly dry nib or something, then I don't know. I find it sometimes it's super hard to actually get that air bubble to disappear.
Mm-hmm.
And then the ink doesn't flow. And it's just super annoying. So I've basically all of them I've converted to eyedropper pens now. That's the only flaw I found with those pens. Otherwise, they're great, I think, but that is super annoying. And I've never had it with any other backfiller, neither TWSBI nor the actual.
Okay, I did actually have that issue with TWSBI. One of my original TWSBI Vacs did actually have that same issue.
Okay.
But I think it was one of the earlier ones that they got that hammered out in later production runs. So mine literally could have just been a quality control issue.
Yeah, or maybe it's just, at least for the pilot, I've used Iroshizuku inks, and I guess they flow much better than, I don't know, some
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do.
random inks I'm putting in all the other pens, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
But yeah, how do you like it?
I like it. I got it with the stub nib.
Mm-hmm.
It's currently inked with, this is where I look up my purchases. I only have two bottles of ink. I should be able to remember this off the top of my head.
Yeah, I was wondering.
Well, again, 14 hours of reworking an AI. I know it's Pilot Iroshizuku.
Mm-hmm.
So Pilot, let's just type that into my search orders because this was Amazon. Oh yeah, Shinryoku. That's what I've got.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know if you dump that ink on paper, it actually has a very nice, subtle, I would say 2 out of 10 red sheen under it?
Nope.
Well, I didn't know that either until I started using it with this stub that honestly writes like a triple broad.
Mm-hmm.
Dear God, it dumps ink onto the page, and it is beautiful.
Yeah.
Until it writes dry, and then I have to do the air bubble thing like I used to with the 823s.
Yeah, this is so annoying.
Just a lot. But I like it. It's for a cheap Chinese pen. The nib is smooth.
Mm-hmm.
You don't feel like you're writing with a $35 pen. That's the thing. Asvine has done a good enough job with the aesthetics that it really does. I mean, you can obviously tell the difference between it and a Pelican or it and a Sailor, because gold nib is always going to feel different than a steel nib, all that good stuff. But even on like your Pelicans, your M200s, where you're still using a steel nib, you can still tell that slight difference between the Pelican and the Asvine in overall quality, because there's still like a few finish marks on the barrel, on the section, things like that you're not necessarily going to see on the higher dollar pens.
Yeah, and that horrible cap band.
And that horrible cap band. But if you're being honest about the fact that, one, it is a mass-produced, cheap pen that you can literally get overnighted on Amazon almost any day of the week, it's miles ahead some of the other cheaper end fountain pens. Like, the quality is there. And it almost feels like a disservice to them calling them cheap Chinese fountain pens now, like trying to say it in an almost dismissive way.
Yeah, there's a definite step up when you compare it to one that's like $10, right?
Oh yeah,
so there's quite the difference. Yeah,
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm still pissed off at the blatant like design motif theft that some of those cheaper Chinese manufacturers are using. I would love to see more original design and less, oh, this is a Mont Blanc copy, or oh, this is an 823 copy, or oh, this is a Sailor Pick Your Poison copy, because the only differentiator we have is the fact that it happens to have a number 8 or number 9 nib instead of whatever size the Sailor had. So, yeah. End rant. I'm getting back into YouTube mode there.
Yeah. Speaking of those copies, I got another one. So that is this Junlai 630. That is essentially the Wingsang / Junlai,
right?
I guess 149 copy, but they've also now come up with ones with flat ends. And this is one of those. And they've started to play the Sailor game of basically putting the parts together in different ways, right?
Yeah.
So they have a burgundy pen, and they have a white one, and now they have a one that is white, but the finials on both ends are burgundy.
Okay, I like that. I like that piano ivory there. I'm totally not on Amazon right now looking for that pen. No.
Yeah, no, not at all. But yeah, and they've also basically they added a broad nib to it. They only had fine nibs until a while ago. But now it's like fine, medium, and broad, and that broad is really broad. Possibly also because of the ink I put in. So I put in a platinum pigment ink, and I found these pigment inks usually just write much broader than anything else. So it's really just a marker now with a vibrant pink in it, which is glorious.
You're gonna have to clear up my memory on this one. Is it the Rialo? I mean, obviously the Rialos are the ones that have the flat cap.
I think Rialo it's a piston filler.
I thought Rialo was flat cap. I thought that was the difference between the
Pro Gear and 1911.
Okay. So
at least overseas in Japan, I think they have different namings again.
Right. So that ink window looks more Mont Blanc than it does Sailor, though.
Yeah. I mean, that one, that is actually a Mont Blanc copy pen, I would say, not Sailor.
Okay. So yeah. I am having a lot of trouble finding that particular colorway for the 630. That is depressing.
Do you need a link?
Yes, please link me.
But it's from the OG Chinese guy, Bobby, on Etsy. So it might take a bit longer. And also in the US, probably not a good idea at this point. Yeah.
Yeah, don't get me started on our current troubles. NSA, if you're listening, I am a happy citizen. Don't take anything I'm saying out of context.
And with that order, when I order on Etsy and it's coming from China, I thought maybe I add a few more things, obviously, as you do.
You don't say.
Yeah. So I did buy 2 July 930. So those are with the number 9 nib with broads some months ago. And then I thought, okay, maybe I add a fine and a medium nib to it. And then I have my Mahjong number 8 copying another Mont Blanc. I think it's the Hemingway or something that had a medium nib. And I thought, okay, maybe I get some fine nibs for that one as well. And I guess, yeah, I did that, and that basically got the ball rolling, and started buying all the other stuff.
How do you like the 930 size wise?
Yeah, it's actually too big.
It's too big. Okay.
It is too big. The nib is not, I mean, number 8 is good, and it's good. I think I like how far the nib tip is away from where you hold it. And that's it's comfortable for me. I mean, even my kids now use fountain pens with number 8 nibs. That's cool. But then the number 9, it actually becomes too big. It's more of a look how big I can make a pen thing, and not the most comfortable.
So the reason I'm asking is they don't have the 630 in the colorway that you posted, but they have the 930 in the ivory white. So, this is how we add it to the shopping cart.
Yeah, I mean, it works. It's just you notice that it's getting on a bit ridiculous and a bit bigger than it would need to be.
I mean, I guess that's in the eyes of the beholder, or the eye stalk of the beholder. If you're playing D&D, just don't look directly into the eye stalk. That's a bad idea. Wow, I am a nerd. I am a complete nerd. So
am I. If I tell you my reasoning for buying all those nibs, but yeah.
Oh no! Now I want to know, because you just opened Pandora's box there. What is the reasoning?
Well, I mean, obviously, I finished my notebook for work, and the new one has a dot grid 5mm, and obviously I can't just write with big nibs there, right? So I have to have fine nibs so that I can actually write in the 5mm grid and use the notebook efficiently, right?
Okay.
Of course.
Oh, that's okay. Since I got back into snail mail over on the Pen Addict Slack, I went ahead and picked up Tomoe River paper and realized I don't have any guide sheets anymore. And the paper I'm using for letter writing, no lines, and I'm coming off of carpal tunnel, so my wrist is still not like 100% for being able to keep stuff straight. So I made a cheat sheet on Pages to go ahead and just have lines. I didn't pay attention to the width of the line, so I think it's like 4.5 millimeter or 5 millimeter line spacing. So it's interesting. Todd and Phil got to see how that is. And we also learned that my mail carrier does not properly utilize the outgoing mail slot in our mailbox cluster. So I'm going to have to start dropping my letters at one of the collection boxes away from the apartment. So,
yeah, I think the well-appointed desks has a section with basically guide sheets of anything you want.
Why am I not shocked that you said that would be?
Also, there's online tools where you can basically customize it to any of your needs. Also, did you have a look at the covers of my work notebooks?
Oh, no, I did not. I need to see those, yes.
Had my daughter take the logo of, or the
either that or you
very
may
old,
have showed them to me or talked about them or something, but yeah, let's see.
Possibly,
let's see. Let's see these.
So yeah, my daughter, I gave her 2-3 notebooks ago, I gave her the old mascot from work that's being phased out. It's this yellow robot that's on the phone. And then basically once I'm towards the end of a notebook for work, I basically remind her and tell her or send her that original picture and all the other ones she did. And she sort of goes along and comes up with the next iteration of the robot on the phone. Which is super fun to see.
Why aren't we paying your daughter to do our show logos for us?
I mean, right now we are not doing it because she also has wrist pain and can't draw much.
Okay, fine. That makes sense. When she's back to 100%, why aren't we paying your daughter to do the show logos for us?
Because she also has ADHD. Getting her then to actually do it is also another thing.
I mean, getting us to actually do something is also a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I'm totally not looking at Sailor King of Pens.
I mean, the pricing is kind of ridiculous by now, right?
It is ridiculous, but we also have this magical thing called Slack, where occasionally one will pop up on Sell Trade. So I think I'm going to go ahead and make a notification to ping me anytime one comes up. And once Todd is paid off, so I don't feel bad about that, I will start my hunt, because I'm going to be honest, I want the pen community to trend fatter on the nibs. Like, if we could find a happy medium between like a standard number 6 and number 8, like kind of like a 7.75 nib, I think that would be perfect. Like that nib size, I think would be perfect going forward. So fountain pen users unite. We need number 7.75s or 762.54. I mean 762. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, but even there, it's like a bit different, right? There's already differences in how long they are.
Yeah.
And so, for example, the S-Vine, I think, is much wider, but not so long compared to others.
I think you're right. Yeah, no, you're right. It is.
So compared to the Junlai or the Wingsungs, those are already a bit longer. And I imagine the Sailor King of Pen as well.
Yeah. That's definitely something that we need to look in, but we need to look at that at another time, because we've been going now for about an hour and 15 minutes. Yes. An hour and 10 if you take out that little system hiccup that Audio Hijack caused earlier. Because, go figure, when Apple does a major software update, it kind of borks things. So ever since they updated to what version of the operating system are we on now? Tahoe or whatever?
I didn't upgrade.
Yeah.
Because I upgraded on my phone, and now using it as a camera is kind of broke.
Yeah, the camera sucks, but I thank God carry around actual cameras so it doesn't impact me as much as
I mean, using it as your camera when you're having a call on the computer That's what I've been doing for a long time successfully until I upgraded my phone. And now it's like, it works and then suddenly it just stops.
That's kind of been my big thing, is like the interface between Audio Hijack and essentially the OS breaks in fun ways. So what we experienced today on the show was my inbound audio cutting out to where I couldn't hear you, but you were able to hear me, I guess, or did I cut out as well?
Nope. You cut out as well.
Interesting. Okay. So the two-way issue is still there. Good to know. But anyways, that's why the episode's a little bit shorter. I'm still in debug mode. Wow. Okay. But yeah, that was a long and interesting journey through what has been happening in the last 3 weeks. And we're going to have to see if we can do it again at the top-ish of January. So till then, we'll see you later.
Bye-bye.